Hello everybody, today I wanted to talk to you about a weapon that I don't see in use a whole lot, and that is the Supra or the Supra Vandal. Now I have the Supra Vandal version of this, and let's get into the build. So on this build, I don't actually have the primary arcane unlocked in this since I don't use it quite as much as my other weapons, but in the Excellus slot here I do have terminal velocity for projectile speed, and then what I have here is the Entropy burst mod, which you get from Cephalon Suda faction. So what this does here is it says +1 entropy, gain affinity to fill the Cephalon Suda meter and trigger a 25-meter magnetic explosion, restoring 25% energy and increasing energy max by 25% for 30 seconds. So really good to use this if you're on a high energy Warframe where you need a lot of energy. And then combining that, I do have magnetic and toxin on here just as a slight backup. So I have electricity and status, trance and high voltage. I've got cryo rounds for cold, playful aptitude for status, infected clip for toxin, stormbringer, which is electricity. I've got the multi-shot and the damage. Now you could swap this out, for example, the magnetic. Where is that at? You could put magnetic capacity on here and just drop the toxin altogether, which is more magnetic. And then there is also this mod here that you might have seen, which goes in excellent accuracy when aiming. Personally, I don't aim weapons a whole lot. I'm just kind of YOLO, I do whatever. So that's why I've chosen to go with projectile speed instead in this slot. And this is all pretty alright. Now I will say, if you have the galvanized mods, like galvanized aptitude and the galvanized chamber, which you get from the arbitration vendor, you would of course be using those in these two slots instead. And you may or may not have to forma again, because those do take up a lot of resources and space. And I would have to forma again to use my maxed out prime cryo rounds. But as you can see, I have 3 forma on here, and I've also got the Orcan Catalyst. So I have put quite a lot of time into this weapon. And then moving on to show you the test, what I have done here is I have summoned some 150 level enemies. Now I don't know if it's necessarily going to show us today the Entropy. Wow, I can't aim for hack down here. Now you will notice this is a pretty small beam, but it has a high rate of fire. So you do have to, it doesn't do a huge AoE. This is more of like for fun, but the main thing about this weapon is that it does fire so fast you can quickly really just shred the enemies and take them out. Now, because I am playing with magnetic due to the Cephalon Suda, you could also play this perhaps with blast, or you could perhaps play this, you know, with other combinations that might work better. I just am playing off the magnetic because that's what I've got going with the Cephalon Suda. But it's killing the enemies pretty quickly, pretty efficiently, and I think it's a pretty fun weapon, and it's got a huge ammo capacity, because you can see here when we run over it, it's got 1600 ammo capacity, and when the magazine is completely full, this thing has 300 magazine. So honestly, this is a pretty nice weapon. Now the Vandal has a little bit better stats than the basic one, but if you just have the basic Supra, that would work. This will work fine with that as well. But yeah, it's a pretty fun weapon, and I hope this guide will have you consider using this weapon more often, or checking it out if you haven't tried it out before. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.